Good morning. Welcome in. It is Thursday, July 16th. We're 90 days out from October 14th. Your DTD2, you're texting, you're calling your B and E's, you're texting Z. You're calling B and E and texting Z. S. I said Z. It's S. Don't mind me. Going off the top of my head, that's right in front of me. But anyway, so 90 days out from the 14th, you're calling your B's and your E's and you're texting your S's. It is a Tech Thursday today. So you've got KT starting at 3 o'clock. And also, if you are still getting yourself hooked up and connected with Lone Wolf, don't forget that starts at 4:30. So he rolls through all the different categories. So here's the schedule for today. We're heading out of here. You've got KW Breakthrough Club, your chance to do lead generation. So you can call your B's and E's and text your S's. That's happening from 9 to noon. That's at kwbreakthroughclub.com. And then later this afternoon, every Thursday afternoon, unless, of course, he's traveling with Jessica, or if it's like Mega Camp Week or Family Reunion Week, which is coming up in August, we'll be in San Antonio for Mega Camp. Other than that, Thursdays at 3, and that would be today at 3 o'clock. You've got Onboarding 101. He's going to go over contacts and websites and apps. And the link for that is right there in the morning news. Tech Onboarding 102, smart plans. And then Tech Onboarding 103, opportunities. This is at 3 and then 3:30 and then 4 o'clock. Then at 4:30, and this one is an hour long, 4:30 to 5:30, he does Lone Wolf. So Tech Onboarding 104 is Lone Wolf. That's at 4:30, and that goes until 5:30. And that is your schedule for today. Now, later today, if you've got somebody who has ever expressed any interest in becoming a real estate agent, we've got career night. That is tonight. It's on the Zooms. The link for that is kwportsmouth.com, kwportsmouth.com from 5 to 6 tonight. And it's a Zoom, and we have Eric in there, and Ashley's in there, and I'm in there, and we're answering questions. Kellerman's in there. We're answering questions about getting started, what it looks like. How's it going to go? What do I do next? What's the first thing I need to do? How long is the process? What does it cost? We talk about all these things. Then, of course, we talk about the opportunity of when they do get their license. If they wanted to come play with us, that would be great too. So career night, that is tonight. That's at 5 o'clock, runs from 5 to 6. And that is on the Zooms. Easy for everybody and anybody to get involved with that conversation. So if you have somebody who's ever expressed interest in real estate, they can certainly join us for that conversation tonight, kwportsmouth.com at 5 o'clock. It is certainly a challenging time of year. We've got people that are on the other side of it. You've got some people that may have wanted to get into the market before the holiday. And when I say the holiday, I say the 4th of July. And now that we're past that, you've got some people that might be in a dead sprint to make sure they get moved in time for the school system. Now, here's the thing. If you're pursuing a school system, I don't think the parents are necessarily worried about getting there in a perfect amount of time. But most people would frame it, hey, as soon as school ends, we're going to start the process, and then we can do it over the summer, and then we can be in the new school system, when school starts again. If that's the case, there's a whole bunch of reasons that people either reignite their interest in going on the market, or they sort of get back into it. Because some people, just like during the holidays, like Christmas and Hanukkah, you'll have an active listing and your seller will say, can you pull it down for a little bit so we can have a little bit of a break? And some people might have done that during the 4th of July. It's not crazy. Here's what we know, though. If we're in a 90-day window, if you're sitting down with somebody right now, they're looking at like a Columbus Day weekend closing. Probably. Based on time on market. And then when the buyer gets introduced to the transaction, then they've got another 45 days. That's why we always say 90 days. That's why we've always said when you're doing Q3 business, you're talking about Q4 results. So if the conversation you're having now is, Mr. and Mrs. Lindsay, if you'd like to be in your new spot for chicken giving, carving that turducken or whatever they're having, like this, we're in the window now. Over the next 30 days, they should be getting themselves in or ready to get in so they could be closed in time for being moved in for Thanksgiving, ready for Hanukkah and Christmas and the snow and all that kind of stuff. What's important for us to remember, too, is there is no perfect time for anyone to move. Gary said this years ago when COVID hit, and we were having conversations with people because we thought, well, and again, when that first started, we had no idea what to expect at all. I mean, for the most part, a lot of us felt like the wheels were going to come off. What we went into was a lot of frenetic energy. We went into people waiving appraisals, people waiving inspections. It was video game for sure. And a lot of people moved. A lot of people took advantage of the market. A lot of people took advantage of the fact they were going to net way up. We had people that were willing to sell their house and then live in a microtel for a little bit, or an extended stay, as it were, because they had made enough money, they netted enough that they could burn some of it while they continued to shop. And now, here we are, and we've got properties that are sitting, and not in a bad way, in a corrective way, and that's good for us. I know we can think about our volume and our opportunity and be like, the numbers just keep on climbing. It's going to hit critical mass. It's going to get to an untenable level. And we have to be aware of the fact that we want it to be balanced. And Brad reminds us consistently, like, if we ever see 2.9 or 3.1, like something horrible is happening globally. We saw those numbers because of the pandemic, which has now become an endemic. It's just another thing that people get. It's like flu plus, no commercials, right? So the rates, and you look at that 30-year average, 6 is pretty delicious. The pricing, absolutely challenging. And what we need to remind our civilians and our consumers and our future clients is, yes, it listed at, but look where she closed. There are a lot of agents out there, they're destroying their list to sale ratio, destroying it, because they're willing to take it at the seller's number. And it's not that we don't take the seller's number, but if we're doing that and falling on our nerve sword and not defending market and industry knowledge, that's a disservice. We are going in. They are teammates. They absolutely drive the conversation. They might drive the conversation, right? They might be behind the wheel. It is incumbent upon us to guide the conversation. And not because you've been doing it for 75 years or you've been doing it for 2 years and you're the professional. That's not why we're guiding the conversation. We're guiding the conversation because we have access to the best and the brightest at this company, and we have access to the market of the moment because we are studying this every day. Now, you are going to run into more consumers that have more access to data, and they have it super fast. They're still not doing this all the time. You could argue, I don't need to call a plumber. I can look it up on YouTube. And for context, I'm not that guy. I'm calling the plumber. Nobody wants me fitting. It's not going to end well. So we can have that mentality. Well, like, I don't know how to do it, but I'll learn how to do it. I'll go on YouTube. I'll figure it out. I'll go grab the tools I need. And if you have the time and you have the desire to do that, yes, and. So we automatically apply that to our consumers and think, well, they're caught up. They're caught up. It might freak us out a little bit too. Like, yeah, they're caught up. I gotta be super sharp. I have to make sure I am ahead of my consumers. And in the moment, that is not the concern. They can have instant information at their fingertips by looking something up or by asking AI. It's still not local, organic knowledge. It's still not going to circumvent what you bring to the table as the local expert. Somebody the other day was telling me that they had a seller asking them, what are they going to do to market their property? And you and I both know a lot of that. We're simply doing it to placate what people want to see. It will make them feel better. It will always be, write this down, I'll be on the quiz later. It will always be the price. Now you could argue, well, no, the condition is going to have its say, Timmy. Yes, it will. And we can either improve those conditions or stand pat on them. The seller can decide they're going to make some fixes and some changes and some improvements, or they're not. And then they have to go back to the drawing board and decide, how will that impact the price? Gary years ago said, it's not a listing price. It's our initial marketing offer. Yeah. It's not often unless you and your seller come together like a summit in Switzerland. It's not often that you're not making some improvements to that offering over time. What we need to pride ourselves in doing is getting them closer to that success window when they first hit the bricks. We've said for years, 10 days, no phone calls, 10 showings, no offers. I would even say we're probably closer to 7, right? But 7's a number we always avoid, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, you can't pick 7 because people always skate to 7. So let's call it 8. 1 day over a week. 8 days, no phone calls. 8 showings, no offers. The world has spoken. There's only one internet, Mr. Lindsay. The whole universe has seen your house. And they've all decided, because of the way we've presented it to the universe, that no one's interested. And then when you are getting those showings and you're not getting offers, you damn well better get some feedback. And that's about us making sure we're asking great questions from those other agents that are bringing their people through. So we have the information to go back and make informed decisions, to make updates, so we can affect that condition and or the price, and sometimes both. There'll always be an excuse. Oh, it's the Canadian wildfires. Oh, it's been too hot. It's too humid. It was the 4th of July. It's about to be August. Mega camp's coming. My sellers are going to the Cape. People are worried about Ukraine. People are worried about Iran. There will always be an excuse for why your buyers aren't moving forward or why your seller's property is sitting still. And if we're going to hold ourselves to account, we have to ask ourselves, Susan Scott, Fierce Conversations, what was your last conversation? Great quote from her book. Is no one conversation will make or break a relationship, and yet anyone could. That's very Henry Ford. If you think you will or you think you won't, you're right. You know in your heart if your communication with your clients is what it should be. and our ability to communicate with them and be honest with them is going to be our greatest asset moving forward. Our emotional drive. Because people always say you got to keep emotion out of the deal. I believe, I hold this belief. I believe that to be untrue. I don't know how you're going to keep emotion out of the deal. We're supposed to insert logic and extract emotion as the broker, yes. Because logic will help them think, emotion will make them act. So emotion's always involved. Emotion's the reason they're doing this. We have to insert logic to make sure that we are brokering on their behalf, fiduciaries on their behalf. But emotion will always equate to equity. And that's how we build trust. That's how we build legacies. That's how we build a business worth having. So who are you communicating with today? What will be your honest conversation? And how much will your buyers and sellers love you for that? If I can help, let me know. It is 603-834-2856. You can also book my face at meetwithcoach.com. Take care.